This screencast is going to be on Explain Everything, which is one of our screencasting apps. So over in the bottom left-hand corner, you see that fancy dancy E where it says Explain Every. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on there and give it a second to load. And I have a couple options when the menu first pops up. I'm going to jump down to the middle section first and go down to the Learn. So you can see there's a bunch of different topics, and I can scroll over and see a couple more topics as well. So that's in the Learn section. If I go all the way down to the bottom, right now I'm on the Home because that's highlighted. If I've created other projects that I want to revisit, I can go back to and click Library. Right now I have nothing in my library. Next I have Learn. This is going to take in those quick tips that we saw before, but also now they have their blog there. They have something called the Explain Everything Academy. There's the Help section. You can contact them and they're great with support. And then last but not least, we have Search. And this is searching for projects or using a code to collaborate with somebody else. So you can search for all your projects that are there. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. I'm going to come back to Home. Now on the top we have three options. We have New, which would be a new project. We have Join with a code, or we can share our project. And we'll get to that when we're finished with our actual screencast. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click New. And it asks us some basic questions when we click in here. Am I holding my iPad landscape or portrait mode? Am I importing it from the cloud? So did I create it on one and then bring it over? And then here are some of the templates that they have, where I can go with a basic blank template, and that's what I'm going to do. So here's the interface. At the top where it says Untitled, you can go ahead and you can click on that, and you can click the X and rename it. I'm going to call it Delete Me. I'm going to hit Done. So now you know that it's called Delete Me. I also have that share option where I can export it if I wanted to. The three dots are going to give me enter the code, collaborators, and then some basic settings. Over on the left hand side I have the first one up in the toolbar there is a finger. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the finger. And some of the things when I click on them, notice that this is one of them has three dots. When I click on it gently, it gives me a pop-up menu. That pop-up menu, this is basically some settings for you, and they're pretty self-explanatory. So to get out of that menu, I'm just going to click anywhere in the canvas. Underneath the hand is the plus. This is the most powerful of all the menus in Explain Everything. I can insert a picture if I wanted to. I can insert a video. I can go to a website, insert a website, and annotate a website. So if you're thinking about websites that you use frequently throughout the year, or in the beginning of the year where you feel like you're giving directions over and over again, this is a great example of, hey, go to screencast I did on Schoology, because that's the LMS that we're using, and this will explain everything. And for math teachers, the equation is absolutely phenomenal. So now I can create screencasts, and I can write a fraction here, and I can go and say 2, click down there, force. So how awesome is that? Now I have that fraction that's there. So I hit that plus button again. I also have an audio clip that I can do. All the other things are pretty self-explanatory. Existing image or video. I can pull in files from all those different third-party sites. I can do some clip art. There's no clip art in the custom, but if you see down where there's a person, the cat, the food, I can click on that, and if I want to use this baby here, I can click on it and it automatically is in there. In order to move the baby, I'm going to click back to the finger, and now I can move the baby. So that's there for you. If I go back to the plus again, I can search for the web, I can do an existing audio, I can do a placeholder, and I can do a video overlay. Moving on down the menu, if I click the next one, this is the kind of the marker where you see the big dot there. That's my thickness of my pen. And I have 8 different thicknesses, and personal preference on which one you think would work best for you. I kind of like the last one in the first row because it looks like this. And that's the thickness of it. If I click on here and I see another one, now you see how thick that is. I can click the pencil, and right now I'm on the kind of the marker, and I can click the pencil, and now I make it the pencil. I have a couple of different looks here. There's what that looks like. This is really cool. A ruler, I can never ever draw a straight line, but now I can draw a straight line by just leaning on it. And so that's great. To get rid of the ruler, just click that again and it'll disappear. So next I'm going to skip down for a second, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors that are kind of like my favorite colors. I can change those by clicking on them and clicking and giving me a different one. So maybe I want to make that green. So that's what I did there. And I can change those however I want to change them. I'll change that back to black. So that's by doing that. I'm going to come down for a little bit, and I'm going to go down to the shape one. So 1, 2, 3, where it has a circle and a square. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that there. And what's really cool about this is that I don't have to be a perfect at drawing shapes. They have a shape creator. I'm going to give myself a new page so I can clean some things up. So I'm going to create a square. Look how perfect it shape matched it for me. It's good to go. Now I'm going to come back to, I'll go to the next one, which is kind of like a highlighter. I'll go back to here and I'll go to the red one, and now I'll go to the paint, and I'm going to click in there, and there it is, it's red. So if I go back here now, the circle that's almost filled in with a couple of lines, that's the color match. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click in here, I'm going to click in there, and it's going to tell me what the color match is. And now I can take and draw a little bit, and that's matching the color that I had there. So that's a nice little feature that I have that's within there. So the next one underneath the highlighter is the eraser. So I can go ahead and I can erase things. And those are 3 different types of erasers. We did the shape tool already. This one is text, so I can put in text. When I'm finished, I hit the check mark, and now my text is in there. If I want to delete something, I can go ahead and I can click this X here. I can click on this and notice that the delete X is there, kind of like when we deleted apps. I can go ahead and delete that. I can do it again with test, and there I go there. Underneath the X is a kind of a laser pointer, and there are 3, 6, 9, 12 different ones, with the lifesaver being the favorite option as well. So this is great. I had students, when I was still teaching, I'd import a reading document for them, and then I'd have them read the document by pointing to each of the words as they read, because some of the kids were skipping over words because they were trying to read too fast, and I wanted them to be aware of what they were doing. So I used that for that particular part of it. The eye is the inspector tool, and I can move this inspector tool over. You can see different options and things to do there, duplicate and that whatnot. So